Good afternoon. This is George, and today I'll be addressing the pilot shortage, um, evaluating cognitive decline in pilots. So, in 2009, the maximum age of pilots was raised from 60 to 65, and they're considering doing the same thing again from 65 to 70 years of age for the mandatory retirement age of pilots. So, um, what does this mean? Uh, Obviously, this is bad news. It's just sliding, sliding, and sliding, and sliding. At this rate, we'll have 80-year-old people flying, and not to say that their experience and their knowledge isn't useful, but um, there is cognitive degradation um, that you really start seeing, and it's just going to make air flight or air travel just more dangerous, less reliable, and we have the idea that we're just going to raise the age, but with no real plan in place to train pilots faster or just handle the burgeoning explosion of air travel demand. So, as you can imagine, people are starting to think, oh well, we'll start relaxing some of the rules, some of the training standards, which is even more dangerous. Uh, I researched that regional airlines now offer much higher pay and even signing bonuses to try to attract more people to get into the aviation industry. Pilots can now receive their certificate in fewer than 1,500 hours if training takes place at a certain flight school. Um, you know, just no good. No one wants to hear their pilots, the people who are responsible for keeping them in the air, their standards of training is decreasing. Um, but there is hope. Um, as we as we go along, we are starting to see uh, people start to use ab initio, and I'm sorry, I might be mispronouncing that, but basically what it is people are starting to chip in to make flight training more accessible to more people. Um, because what we're seeing now is it's really prohibitive in today's world. I mean, pilots can pay more than $70,000 for flight training over 2-3 years, and lots of banks suspended loans for flight training after the 2008 financial crisis. So, and you can see the same thing all in Europe as well. Um, it's just not a reality to think that someone's going to, of their own accord, pay out all this money to become a commercial pilot and do this dangerous job for not a lot of money. They can't even pay for it. So we see a couple of solutions. Chinese airlines are fully sponsoring the training of pilots from China, and they sign them to long-term contracts. But not even that's working. They are Chinese Chinese air travel is moving so fast they're still struggling to keep up. But something like that would be great for um, American pilots. The only difficulty is, well, yeah, signing long-term contracts is to me a little dicey. Um, but you have places that will just garnish your wages. Once they train you, it'll be taken out. I looked at American Airlines, and if you meet the general qualifications, and they will help you finance your basically you'll be taking out a huge student loan um, to pay the tuition costs, and you can defer payment until you are hired and working for American Airlines. I think that's a good solution too, but I think we are already seeing how education is putting people into deep financial holes early on in life. So I'm not sure how much traction that is going to have, but we're seeing the effects now. We we're seeing the effects of pushing the problem, kicking down the road a little bit, and not really having a plan in place to solve the problem. So what I think we need to do is to keep up with the man. If we increase the mandatory retirement age to 70, it needs to come with a very, very firm plan to have training um, or some system in place of airlines training pilots or even manufacturers training pilots to keep up with the growing demand, or else, 10 years we'll have the same problem with suddenly we have 75, 80-year-old commercial pilots. And no offense, but um, no offense. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you. And my sources will be at the bottom. Everyone, have a great day.